I'm from Teach Pre-K, and I am in the middle of kind of ushering out Thanksgiving and bringing the holidays in my home. And I will be in my classroom, and I'll do a little video on my classroom setup a little later this week. But before I go to my classroom with all the stuff that I have, I want to do a video on what I do for math centers during Gingerbread Week. So between now and our winter break, this is a great time to do any of these activities. I have got a 5-day lesson plan that really has about 2 weeks worth of activities and video suggestions, book suggestions, sensory bin, dramatic play, you name it. But also in my Teachers Pay Teacher store, if you go to my my categories, which are going to be on the left hand side of the screen, and you click on gingerbread, I have everything you can imagine at every price point. Lots of just plain literacy centers, like writing, letters, beginning sounds, rhyming, antonyms, on and on. Math centers, which center around shapes, numeral writing, numeral identification, counting. Oh my gosh, like measurement, you name it, I've got it. I have electronic games as well as print and go products. But I will leave a link to my Gingerbread Lesson Plan in this description. And from there, you can kind of do a little exploring yourself. But this is really weird. This is more of a visual discrimination activity. So I'm going to dive right into what I do for centers and activities. I could almost put this in games, but I kind of use this to see where the kids are with visual discrimination and if they can see differences. It is which gingerbread friend, because there's gingerbread boys and girls, is different. So you look, they all have the same expression, but that one has a bow with some holly on it. This one is hard. And what's so funny is a lot of kids don't get this one, but this is the different one. He's got a straight frown. But when I used to teach both the 3 to 4 year olds and the 4 to 5 year olds, wow, I would do this on the same day, and you would just see the developmental leap from the things they notice and the things they don't notice. The 3-year-olds struggled, the 4-year-olds got these like before I could put them down on the table. But this is just a fun little activity. It's fun to do during circle time. And if you're doing it during circle time or whole group time, you could say, okay, one of these is different. Is it this one, this one, this one? And have them do like a call and response to answer which is different. And it will get the other kids really looking. And then you can say, what is different about this one? So that's a fun activity. And I always have these. Like this one is just count the items, trace the number, and you can see this is really well loved. I do this every year. I have just discovered that my kids really love to learn how to write real letters and real numbers. I used to think this is the most boring activity ever. You guys, it isn't. They will actually eat this up. The kids that struggle with writing or counting might not like this, but you know, look, it's still there from when they did it last year. I gotta clean these up, but it's all right here. Just so fun. And this is in my lesson plan as well as that visual discrimination, but it brings in counting, numeral identification, fine motor, numeral writing, I mean, one-to-one correspondence, you name it. So activities like this are always great because we hit so many standards with just one activity. And then you guys, if you've watched me at all, you've seen that I put these little tracing sheets into sheet protectors, and you're like, there is one number on there. I like to start my kids out writing big. My 3-year-olds, this is going to be a better activity in some cases than this. So you could use this as a backup activity if you want, or just have this be the whole activity, and it's just help the gingerbread man find his house, and it's correct formation. So you get numeral identification and numeral formation in here. So you're hitting lots of standards, and I'll put these in sheet protectors. It's not a worksheety thing. You just wipe it off, turn it over, and you've got the next number. And these go 0 through 10. And it's not a counting thing, it's just a formation and identification thing. Another thing that I seem to do a lot is shape matching puzzles. And these, you guys, I like to put out. You can do them as a center, but I also like to just put them out on a table and let the kids go there and see if they can, fit the pieces together to make, trapezoid. This one has a lot of shapes in it. Sometimes I just do like 5 basic or up to 7 or 8. This one's got like every shape you can imagine, and this is in my lesson plan as well. But which link will be in the description. But it's just great to review shapes with the kids all the time. Super good for just pre-geometry, or it is our geometry, and it definitely hits a standard. So funny, you guys, I do not even have this prepped yet. It's still in its sleeve, but I also have measuring, where we'll measure with Unifix cubes. So we get the fine motor with the Unifix cubes. We measure, we compare height, we count the Unifix cubes. Great activity for reaching your measurement and comparing standard. Now this one is one of the first gingerbread activities that I made, and it's so funny. I look at it and I think there's a few things I would have done differently. Like this number 1, I probably would have made 4 times that big. But this is just like count the candies, find the house. So this guy's got 3, so he doesn't live in this house because it has a number 1. He doesn't live in this house. He lives in this house because he has 3 candies. So these go up to 10. So there you've got a little numeral recognition and counting activity, and it's fun because they get to play with the little gingerbread man, and some of them are like, I'm gonna walk over to my house, and so you really introduce an element of play. Oh, another link I am going to put in there is years ago off Amazon, I got these little gingerbread men, and I think there was like 100 or 200 in the bag. I'll find the link and put it in my description. But there's this little guy. This one's got a little heart, and I know there's like a third one. Oh, and this one has 3 heart buttons. I use these for bingo markers, for counting manipulatives, in my sensory bin. I give everybody a little one of these to put in their pocket, and it's the gingerbread man in their pocket, and they love it and think it's great. I use this at circle time. We count these into a jar. How many gingerbread men are we going to fit in this jar? Things like that. But these were very inexpensive, and they have a million uses. You can form numbers, you can form letters. I mean, the list goes on and on. And if any of you have been following me for a while, I am the queen of count and clip. And I love this because I have every number. So all the numbers are the same. You just count, use clothespin, and you clip the number. So again, you've got counting, numeral identification, and fine motor skills with the clothespins. If you don't use clothespins, you can use like little buttons. You could use the little gingerbread men, put this guy on number 2, and fill this whole thing with little gingerbread men. These are also fun to like break out metal cookie sheets and put these on those. And how many are on the cookie sheet? Stuff like that. That's the thing I love about this week, is that you can get so creative. Another thing that I love is I do have drive the gingerbread roads. So we'll put little cars out, and they just form numbers. I usually do this as like a mini center in the morning, or as an extra independent center that they can go to if they want to. I will stipulate that, okay, remember, we are driving the cars on these roads. We are making these numbers so they're not just crashing into each other and being absolutely nuts and causing chaos in your classroom during center time. But if you're a preschool teacher, you are good with the chaos. This is just another spin, graph, and count. I get a clear spinner, tape it there, we spin, and we put the corresponding color of Unifix cubes on the graph. So we are doing some graphing, some counting, some fine motor skills. You're hitting a lot of standards with this one. And you guys, I play this thing up like you would not believe. I will just go, oh my gosh, look how many blue you have, look how many red you have, and make them so excited. And we laugh if they keep getting like red over and over and over again. So much of their engagement in a center, especially a center that they've done before, is going to be how you actually do the center. So I also have this little cover, the numbers, and you just roll dice or a die. I have these 1 through 6 and 1 through 12, and you can put a little button on the numbers once they get the numbers. And once you get all the numbers, the game is done. But you can also, even though I don't like worksheety things, this is still a fun little game. You can also, see, this is a 1 to 6 black and white. You can just use bingo daubers or have them color with a marker if you want. So you can have them do that to get just a little extra fine motor in there, along with the numeral recognition. And you guys, I love this guy. This is another drawn cover, but this is really like, yeah, cute candy numbers. You can tell my skills got better. But I've got corresponding candy cane numbers, and you just cover them with cute little buttons. You can use gumdrops. You can use these little guys and just have a whole mat covered with little gingerbread men. But again, it's just another fine motor numeral recognition activity that is just cute and fun. And anything with the little gingerbread men on it, you guys, they're gonna absolutely love. Oh, I've got so many other things in here. I've got a 10 frame and a book. So Scholastic has a lot of 10 little gingerbread men kind of books. I use this one. I have 2 forms of 10 frames with the numbers and without the numbers. As we read the book, depending on if it's a subtraction book where we start with 10 and we lose 1, or we start with just 1 and go up to 10, I will do the setup the same way. So let's say I'm using these as the markers. My lesson plan comes with little, let me show you, little square gingerbread men that fit the squares. But if I was using these, I would fill this up and we would take one off each time and we would count. So yeah, I like doing this. They like any counting books that they have, that they participate in. They really like using books with activities. Like if you have ever read one of the, I know an old lady, and you have one of those old ladies that you actually feed stuff. I don't think they have one for gingerbread, but they have one for Christmas. They had one for Thanksgiving. Most of the holidays and big events they'll have them for. But my co-teacher has been so cute. I've always had pictures that we just put in, and those can get kind of wonky. She has gone through and she has gathered up little tiny things that they can actually feed the old lady, and you guys, oh my gosh, they love it. So they're that way with the counting books too. Anything that they can actively participate in, they love. And I have some things like that for my gingerbread literacy too, that you're really gonna like. Now this is something I'm working on. It's not in my store yet, but it should be by the time we have this video out. So this is my mock-up. You guys, I've done about, gosh, 5 or 6 different renditions of this. But this is a sorry, you guys, I never can figure out my hair during the mirror thing. This is a flashlight game. So I'm going to use my phone. I have lots of little flashlights in my classroom for the kids, and we'll do like a ghost hunt in the dark, or I'll turn off all the lights and hide magnetic letters everywhere, and they have to like find all the W's or whatever. But this is turning on my flashlight. Who lives in this house? Now, all you do is, whoops, wrong way, shine the flashlight. You can tell it's my mock-up, and you see the cowboy, so you'd mark him off, and the waiter. Ta-da! But they love stuff like this. Anything that you can do with the flashlight. And another thing that I was thinking that would be really cute is I could do how many gingerbread men live in this house. For my 3-year-olds, which I teach every day, I don't have 4 to 5s this year, but for my 4 to 5s, I might put like lots and say how many gingerbread men live in this house, and have them like write the number, or, you know, whatever, or tell me, or something like that in the center, and we would take turns counting. But I think for my 3s, just being like, who lives in this house? Oh, this guy, and then finding them and putting a little mark, trying to get it in that square, and working on some fine motor skills. Again, the visual discrimination, anything with a flashlight is going to pique their interest, and they're going to be so excited about. So this will be a freebie with complete instructions on how to put it together. This is 2 sheets right now. You'll take the half sheet and you'll stick it on and laminate it, and it will be ready to go. But yeah, right now I'm still prototyping all this, but I think it's going to be a really, really fun game. So that's what I've got for math. So I will leave the link to my lesson plan. And like I said, if you go there and you want to explore other gingerbread activities, you guys, I have more than you can shake a stick at. I have close reads on Gingerbread Girl and the Gingerbread Man. In my gingerbread lesson plan, I'll do another video on the literacy stuff and the art projects, but you get tons of templates and like more information on how to have a really, really, really great week and plan it out. I have each day planned out that you can follow if you like, or vary it a little bit. But that is first video for gingerbread. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying a restful Thanksgiving weekend. School starts Monday.